Welcome, everyone. You're listening to the ImPerfect Podcast. I'm Kathy.
And I'm Kennedy. Join us on this week's episode as we discuss intriguing topics and people of interest that will inspire us to explore all of the unique pieces of ourselves.
We are all imperfectly perfect.
We're glad you're here.
Hello, and welcome back to our next episode of the ImPerfect Podcast, Christmas 2023. Today, we thought it'd be kind of fun if we approach the show in the form of the 12 days of Christmas, but instead of the 12 days of Christmas, our 12 best memories or most standout memories in the last year of our podcast.
Yeah, and I'd also like to point out I am wearing a Santa hat. There was quite an ordeal before we hit record about how my hat was going to be displayed, and yeah, it's quite floofy. That's all I gotta say.
Get this neat green reflective light on my neck too.
Right.
So those of you who are watching get extra perks.
Yeah, the costume budget is pretty slim. But did you want to do one for one, maybe?
Sure.
Do you want to start at 12 or 1?
Yeah, well, you have to start at 12.
Okay, sorry.
So on the 12 days of Christmas, my true love gave to me, that kind of thing. So yeah. That's what we're doing. So on the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 tuning forks that I have to move each and every time off the table that's behind me here onto some other surface that I can pretend like this is how it always looks in my house. So
yeah. Yeah, and the 12th day for me is 12 times that Kennedy forgot to grab the plant for recording, or there could have been more than 12 times. So we actually addressed this, and we had done at our 1 year of podcasting a video of what it's like to do podcast night with Kathy and Kennedy, and we did a step-by-step of right from when I leave my place and come to mom's and what the whole night looks like for us typically. And we also included the fact that I always forget this plant because my mother actually keeps it in her living room. So I always travel all the way up the stairs and get my whole podcast thing set up and then realize that I always forget it in her living room. So 12 times that Kennedy forgot to grab the plant for recording or more.
Yeah, ironically, my tuning forks was on that same video, so kind of interesting. So on the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me the 11 times that I've asked Kennedy to show me how to do a split screen on my computer so that I can actually see our show notes and us, up in the side recording. So yeah,
grab and drag.
I know, and I know how to do it, and it's the same every time, and I don't know why it works sometimes and not others.
Right. Yeah. So 11 for me is 11 butterscotch puddings at least. So we actually did a TikTok on this too. It's more of a mom thing. We on podcast nights, sometimes we decide to go and grab food for the evening because we do supper together and everything. And there's a store up the road that sells pre-made butterscotch puddings, and so mom's all about that, and she can't go by the little area in the store without grabbing one.
Well, I can sometimes, but other times I can't. We just recently had a discussion about the crazy prices of near everything and how we should start making our own butterscotch pudding. So that might be in the works for next year.
Right.
So number 10, you want me to go with that one?
Sure.
On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me the 10 miles per hour that Kennedy runs to her car when it's dark outside. So the deer that frequent my yard and the raccoons and the skunks and that one particular bear, yes, a bear, walked through my yard earlier this spring. So when Kennedy leaves, there's a back door light and there's a garage door light. So but when she's in the in-between, it's like no man's land.
It's just pitch black until I get in front of the garage and then the light turns on. It's like, oh, and I always like lock my car with my button before going outside, so it makes the honking noise so that if anything's chilling around my car, get before I run outside. So 10 for me is 10 nights we sat here and didn't accomplish anything or more.
Not more things that we accomplished, but yeah, it could have been more than 10 nights, you mean?
Yes. Could have
We've had a
definitely
few
been
of
more.
those.
Yeah. Yep.
No, I'm not feeling it. Yeah, me either. Okay, let's do extra next week. or
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
We end up in a tiff and Kennedy marches out. And
Yep.
we can't get anything recorded. So.
Yep. That happens.
How about on the 9th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 9, which would be the average number of TikToks that we've done retakes on every time we record. So recording a TikTok, yeah, no, that's not right. Oops, we got the timing wrong. But I know the final product looks like we always got it wrong anyway. Can you imagine? It's worse.
Can you imagine? It gets worse than that. Yes.
Right.
The best is when we're like, okay, I'm going to hit record, or there's the countdown. And it's like, okay, once it hits this, you have to start dancing. And the amount of times where we're like, oh, shoot, that was our cue. And meanwhile, one of us has already started. The other one's like,
Yeah.
trying to catch up. So 9 for me is people recognizing us in public as the podcast girls. So
Yeah.
this has actually happened more times than I would have expected. So just being out and about in the village. There was actually one time I was in town that somebody said, hey, are you that podcast girl? So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. It's a weird feeling, and I don't know, proud embarrassment is
Yeah, that's it.
compounded word. It's sort of like that.
You're sitting there wondering, okay, did you only listen to one episode? And if so, which one did you listen to?
Right. Or was it the TikToks?
Right.
Okay. How about on the 8th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 8 trips to A&W. We were going for supper.
Yeah. It's
least.
Oftentimes we can't decide, and default tends to be A&W, so that's okay.
Yeah, we're the onion rings extra well done, please. That's us. Yeah.
That's our order. Yeah. 8 times that mom claimed she didn't get my email with the show notes. So
Well, it didn't.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'll send mom the podcast show notes, like for the topic that we're doing of the day. And I'll be like, all right, I just sent it to you, whatever. And she'll be like, Kennedy, I didn't get anything. And meanwhile, like 20 seconds later, never mind, I got it. That, or she knew she got it, but she can't find the email that I had sent it in 2 days ago or whatever.
That happens. Sometimes I have to do a search.
Right.
On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 7 guests that we either met through work or school in the last year.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's all about connections with people, truthfully.
Yeah, it really is. And it's interesting to see that, how we knew people in a different light and how there's so much more to them that, once you get talking, you find out some things you never knew.
Yeah, and not just that, we've had experiences where us doing an interview with some person has also connected us to 1 or 2 other people that have been interested in being interviewed. So it's kind of cool. It just multiplies. And again, it's all about making connections with people. You never know where those relationships will lead. So what number are we on? 7? 7 days in between episodes with full intention of planning our new topics, but not actually doing it. Like tonight. Right, Mom?
Yeah. It's not that, well.
What happened tonight, Mom? Why don't you tell us?
And okay, so what happened with you for the last 2 weeks?
So what we're talking about.
We sit here and we think of great ideas, and you're going to do this week, and you're going to, in a perfect world, but then life happens, and people get sick or things come up, and yeah, I had fully intended to finish one of my episodes today, the notes on it. And Kennedy got here and I'm like, yeah, I'm still working on the 12 Days of Christmas thing. I'm not even sure if I'm doing it right. Like I'm not quite sure what you're, and she's like, Mom, it's so simple. I already told you 3 times. And yeah, anyway, so that's
It's not just that though, but for me, it's like you're going through the week, you're like, yeah, I'm totally gonna get that done. Suddenly it's Sunday afternoon.
yeah.
And you're
It's
like, oh no.
yeah, and then you realize you have a bunch of stuff on Monday and you're like, okay, yeah, I should have, yeah, 10 minutes maybe in between when I'm finished doing what I have to do and when we're gonna start, getting together. Yeah, that should be enough time to totally fix up those last two that I was working on.
Right. It never happens that way. That's just life.
There goes holiday. Christmas,
To be all fall.
right
It's
over the plan.
It's alive.
Okay, so number 6, 6 times losing my show notes on the computer. Yeah, seeing as we just talked about the show notes, I save them in files that I don't know. It's like socks in the laundry.
It's funny for me to hear you say these things because meanwhile I'm like, it's so simple. Just save it in a file that you'll remember
Did
where it's
save
at.
it. I did save it. Who
You
erased?
obviously did not save it because it's not there. So your age is showing a little bit when it comes to that stuff. But anyways. 6 recorded videos that never made it to the public. So this tended to be more last year. I think we have one from this year, and it's episodes that we prepare, we record them, and then we, reconvene after the fact, and we're like, so how are you feeling about that one? And then we're both like, want to scrap it? Yeah, we're gonna scrap it. So we have
Good
them
for an emergency only situation.
emergency only. Yeah,
If we're really
absolutely.
stuck, if we're both hospitalized and we can't record,
We
then
still have that crappy episode banked. Perfect.
air
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's 6 of those just sitting in the abyss.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Good thing I don't have to look.
Yeah, good thing you didn't save it, huh?
Yeah, they'd be gone forever. On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. If the 5 times I asked if we should be having costumes or props for the TikTok or the podcast we were going to record. So you can explain, because I'm sure you'd love to embarrass me further.
We made a TikTok actually referencing this funny situation that Mom and I had. You're not so much like that anymore. I think you've got a better handle on what it is. But when we first started doing TikToks, Mom thought, because the TikTok she was seeing was people were all dressed up in all these funny costumes. And so any TikTok we did, she had the impression that we had to put on these hilarious, stupid costumes. No, it just had to do with that particular TikTok. Mom, this one about us, talking about our podcast. We don't have to, have our hair sticking up and sunglasses sideways and whatever the heck. You just can sit there and talk about it, So that was, yeah, you're getting a better grip on that for
a slight misunderstanding.
Right. She thought every TikTok had to be absolutely ridiculous.
More hip now.
Right. So 5 interruptions by Tootsie. So that would include things that you guys don't actually see. I can sometimes tell, or Mom will tell me after the fact, if you see Mom's computer kind of jiggle a little bit or whatever, that would be the cat, jumping onto the massage table or jumping off the massage table, because that's what Mom's laptop is propped on. And or you might hear like a scratching in the background. Well, that's the cat in the litter box, or so 5 interruptions by Tootsie the cat.
No secrets here.
No.
On the 4th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 life coaches that we had on our show this year.
Yeah. Or maybe the last year and a half, but yeah.
Well, no, how did I Yeah, I went through. No, it was 2 life coaches actually, and 2 clergy, so 2 ministers.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so I feel that that qualifies as a life coach.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah,
Go look for.
really cool. 4 scares of a video recording not saving. So I have had a couple instances where, I'm thinking that our recording is going to be converting to a file so I can save it on my computer. Sometimes it doesn't automatically do that. So it's a bit of a scare of I have to go find it and see if I can still, save the situation. But also, in case any of you guys don't know, when you do a podcast, videos take up a lot of space on your computer. And so I have an external hard drive now, but yeah, that little scare for a bit of, you think it's going to convert and save and come to find out there's no space left on my computer.
Oopsie.
That's scary. But yeah, not to worry, all is fine.
Yeah. So on the 3rd day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 guests who were from Europe this year.
Mm.
So we had Sita McKee, we had the Graveyard Girls, and we had, who's the other one? Olga.
Olga, yeah.
Yeah, she was the one that made the gnomes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool that, we're attracting some people from not our province, not our town, not our province, not our country even,
Yeah.
or our
Really
continent
kind of cool.
for that matter,
Or what?
or our continent for that
Yeah,
matter.
exactly. Really kind of cool. It's neat that we have had people reach out from other areas even. It's always cool to get at someone who reaches out because it's nice to know that we're getting our name out enough that people are seeing us
Yeah.
from Europe, like who would think.
Yeah, and I think the reason you had said at the time about the Graveyard Girls were the first people who followed us when we
Yes.
first started our podcast. So we actually asked them if they would guest appear on our show.
Yeah. So number 3 for me is 3 shirt changes in one night. And a little tidbit, this is second shirt change of our night. Let's see if you compare it with whatever episode, the other episode that we did tonight. I don't know. Let's have a contest maybe. So we often will prepare, if we're really feeling motivated, we will have multiple topics prepared and just record 2 or 3. Episodes in one night so that we have some banked as well. So yeah, we're on t-shirt number 2 tonight, but we've had max 3, I think. So
yeah. On the 2nd day of Christmas, we're getting down there. My true love gave to me 2 hats that we wore on the show. Not 2 hats, 2 times we wore hats on the show. So in looking through the past year, we had Christmas of last year, which still counts as the last year. And well, Kennedy is sporting a red and white dapper. Last year we had Santa hats on, and we also had New Year's hats on.
True. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, now I've screwed it up. There's 3. 2 for me is 2 injuries while recording TikToks. I remember them specifically. The first one, I don't know if it was caused by TikTok or you had the injury prior, but there was conveniently the one TikTok that we had to have mom jumping around. It was I don't want to embarrass myself, but the tick, 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 and then mom just like jumps and does something strange. Yeah, her foot was injured. It was bruised. And the other time was the one where I was like fake hitting you with the shoe, but I was actually hitting you a little too aggressive by the end of it. And yeah, mom was like, okay, you don't have to whack me so freaking hard. Like it's a fake whack.
All those years built up.
Right.
Didn't you kick me one time too?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Very possible.
Okay, so how does that go in the song? On the last day of Christmas or the
I don't know. It just says and a partridge in a pear tree.
On the last day of Christmas. Would that be the Christmas day? I don't know.
Anyway,
for number one, we had one Tootsie appearance. So Tootsie is my cat. She is now on the floor. I could try to turn the computer, but I'm not sure that it would work.
Probably not a good idea, Mom.
Yeah. Anyway, there was one show that we did on, what did I tell you it was?
Doubt, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm here talking, and I don't even think you see the cat. You just see like
You just see the tail go across the screen.
Yeah.
And I start giggling.
So
yeah, we love Tootsie. And my number one is one too many ideas. So we've been asked a couple times actually how and where we come up with these ideas, and it's funny enough, a lot of times it's just a lot of recently for me I've been like just scrolling through TikTok, and there's been times even before we started our podcast even, so this would be September 2021 or something crazy. We've been keeping a running tally and a list of things that we just go, oh, that'd be a good podcast topic, so we jot it down so we don't forget it. So yeah, we actually have a surplus of ideas for topics, so there's no shortage of that. So one too many ideas, that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode, whether it be on actual Christmas Day, which what the heck are you doing? Or on any other day. We wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And thank you again for continuing to come back and listen to our podcast.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
If you or someone you know has a unique story to tell, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at theimperfectpodcast@outlook.com.
For more information and how to connect with us on social media, you can visit us at our website, theimperfectpodcast.ca.
And from whichever platform you are listening to this episode, be sure to like, share, and leave us a review. We would really appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode.
We look forward to hearing your feedback and seeing you all find that extra joy and embrace your own imperfect.
See you next week.